What's happening, boys and girls? Bo McBrayer here from FantasyPros, and I got your top 7 waiver wire additions for Week 13. But first, if you want a chance to win a signed Josh Allen Bills helmet for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to fantasypros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Fantasy Pros My Playbook app, leave a review for the podcast, or follow us on X, Instagram, or TikTok at Fantasy Pros. The more actions you complete, the more entries you receive. We will be announcing a winner right here on the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's get right on it. Number 7. It's a big surprise. Nobody else is adding this guy. I might be off my rocker for doing this, but number 7 is Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Easiest remaining schedule in the fantasy season. The Cowboys do not face a good pass defense until Week 17 against Philadelphia. That begins with Thursday's Thanksgiving clash with the New York Giants. This is the easiest remaining schedule. This is what we had circled if you drafted Dak Prescott earlier on this season, or if you picked him up, you had this portion of the schedule circled. Cooper Rush, 17, 18 points the last couple weeks on the stat sheet. He's not a good quarterback. We don't need him to be. We need him to put up numbers, and he is putting up numbers so far. There's nothing really in his way to stop that from continuing. I think this could be the ultimate storybook finish for your fantasy season, picking up a long-term streamer like Cooper Rush and worrying about everybody else in the skill positions. It might be crazy, it might be foolish, but I'm saying Cooper Rush is number 7. At number 6, the ageless wonder, Stanford, Zach Ertz. He might not even remember his time at Stanford. He's been in the league that long. Father time's undefeated. He hasn't gotten to Zach Ertz yet. And the Commanders really don't have any good receivers after Terry McLaurin. Their running game is going to take a dive here with the injuries to their running backs. I think the rookie's best friend forever, BFFs. You got Jaden Daniels looking for open receivers. Of course, he's going to look for Terry McLaurin. He's also going to look for 87-year-old Zach Ertz. He never quits. He's going to keep putting up stats. Pretty nice remaining schedule to boot. Scored a touchdown last week. This is going to continue, so make sure you get some Zach Ertz off the waiver wire. At number 5 is another Commander. I alluded to the injuries to the running backs. Brian Robinson Jr. went down with an ankle injury. He came back. He didn't look very good. Ankle injuries are really fickle. You never know how severe they are. If it's a high ankle, low ankle, mid ankle. Either way, Brian Robinson didn't look good after he rolled his ankle. And Austin Eckler was on kick return trying to make a big play in that end of that crazy Dallas Cowboys Commanders game, and he got absolutely leveled. Like, I think his teeth fell out of his head and flew down the field. He was hit so hard. Obviously concussed, probably not going to be playing this next week. That leaves a couple guys that we've seen this year do things in injury situations. Jeremy McNichols is the guy I'm after. Chris Rodriguez is there too. He's probably going to get activated off the practice squad for this game as well. McNichols is the catch here because Rodriguez was only activated before because McNichols was also hurt. This backfield's been through a lot of injuries already this season. We know what McNichols is. He's a very versatile PPR back. He likes to score touchdowns. He's just your all-around kind of football player. He plays special teams. You're not going to be able to get him off the team unless he's injured, and he's healthy now. So get Jeremy McNichols at number 5 for the Commanders. Take the guesswork out of waiver wire decisions with Fantasy Pros Waiver Assistant. Get instant analysis on potential moves from over 100 fantasy experts. Discover both the weekly and rest of season impact for every waiver ad. Visit fantasypros.com/myplaybook or download the Fantasy Football My Playbook app to optimize your roster today. All right, let's jump in. Top 4, the final 4. At number 4, it's a guy who has been a little banged up. The team has looked bad. They've been off bye week. I'm talking about Tank Bigsby. This Jacksonville Jaguars team is awful. There, Doug Peterson. Dougie, you got nothing to lose. You're a dead man walking. I have no idea how you still have a job. But one thing you did do this season that did work, it cracked the top 5 running backs twice this season with 20-point performances. You got to keep rolling out there with Tank Bigsby. Travis Etienne is bad. One of the worst first-round picks of all time. Urban Meyer's crown jewel from Florida. Yeah, it's Travis Etienne's not a good player. Tank Bigsby, we don't even know if he's good. He's okay, but he's going to get a lot of work. Doug Peterson and that offense, they have a lot to prove, apparently shaking things up. I don't believe it. I think that this is a low ceiling play. I don't think we get those 20-point performances from Tank Bigsby anymore with how bad this offense has kind of degraded into. This team's season is over. You might as well keep Tank Bigsby on the field, give him lots of volume. Who knows? He might turn into the next Kyron Williams, who just does it all on volume without any explosive ability, without any versatility or efficiency. That's really all we need is volume from Tank Bigsby. There's no reason why he should be on waivers at this point. At number 3, the one quarterback I actually can advocate for that isn't a crazy one. It's rookie Drake Maye of the Patriots. He has only cracked 20 fantasy points one time this season. However, he has pretty much kept a 15 to 18 point floor because he runs the ball. He leads the NFL in yards per carry. He doesn't have any good receivers. His running game stinks. His offensive line is atrocious. Nobody does more with less among this rookie class than Drake Maye. And if that means he's going to run around and scramble on every play, it really helps us in the stat sheet. Drake Maye, he gets the Indianapolis Colts. The defense in Indy isn't very good. They're terrible at tackling, and they haven't handled scrambling quarterbacks well this season. So Drake Maye, even if it's just for week 13, should be rostered. It's a perfect streaming option, especially if you miss out on the illustrious performance that Cooper Rush is going to have. I joke, but Drake Maye is your prize possession quarterback streamer this week against Indy. He's at number 3. At number 2, a lot of people are going out there to get this guy at number 1. With top priority, I don't quite see it. He was on our list last week as a low budget option. Ameer Abdullah of the Raiders. The only reason you're adding Ameer Abdullah is because there's nobody left in Las Vegas. All the running backs are hurt. They weren't good to begin with. Zamir White and Alexander Mattison. Those guys they're just bad. They're banged up. Even if one of those guys comes back to play in week 13, Ameer Abdullah is a great PPR back. He's going to be in the passing game. He's your negative game script merchant. And guess what? The Raiders are so bad that they're always going to be in negative game scripts. You enter Ameer Abdullah, don't go crazy on the fab. That's obviously going to cost you more this week than it did last. But I have a feeling that one or both of Zamir White and Alexander Mattison will be back this week, which relegates Ameer Abdullah to less volume than he saw last week. Of course, he paid off with a touchdown, still capped out at 17 points. Keep your expectations moderate for Abdullah, but he's at number 2. At number 1, it's another rookie, and this is Keon Coleman of the Buffalo Bills. And this is a very talented receiving core for the 2024 rookie class. One of the best we've seen. Every year seems to churn out a great crop of wide receivers. I think Keon Coleman's at the bottom of that first tier. He had a lot of great guys that went in the first couple of rounds in this last draft. Keon Coleman's not near Roma Dunze, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors. He's not even close to those guys, but he's in a great offense, and that pays a lot of bills. It's having a great quarterback and a great offense. Josh Allen obviously going to score a lot of points, and Keon Coleman, it has touchdown upside every week because of how good the offense is around him. The rising tide is Josh Allen. Keon Coleman, he's not a get open guy. He's not a chain mover. He's not a ball winner on jump balls. 50-50 is exactly that. He's not going to wow you with all those contested catches. It's not really his game despite his size. He's a big play merchant. He's a big guy. He can get down the field. He can make those high leaping ability catches that aren't necessarily contested because he's bigger than the defender. but his yak is underrated. This guy is a really big athlete, and we saw that at Florida State. If they ran him in the big slot, get him open quick, put the ball in his hands, he's going to break some tackles. He's really tough to bring down. He's faster than he looks. He's strong. He's agile. That's what the Bills are probably going to be looking at after their bye week. We see a bump every year from rookie wide receivers post bye week. Keon Coleman needs to be picked up on waivers if you can find him. He's hovering around 50% rostered. If you got a frustrated person who dropped them a couple weeks ago, then you need to go out there and spend some fab, get Keon Coleman, because really, even though he's not the ideal wide receiver, he's somebody that you should have on your roster, especially if it's a good matchup. If you think, oh, Buffalo's going to score 30 points in this game, you better have Keon Coleman at least in a flex starting spot. Well, that's been week 13, top 7 waiver wire additions. Join me next week for week 14. Thanks.